It's good day and welcome to another fantastic edition of Plus Sport. Definitely today we know that it's some days to the World Cup and so many stories surrounding the World Cup is what we will be talking about. Joining me on the program is Jide Alaka, Papa Jide Alaka, editor of Premium Time and a very respected journalist in the sport time industry. Jide, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Muda. Thank you again for having me.
Yet we've been. I'm sure most of our viewers are happy to always have you as a special guest. But let's go straight to the topic, and it's one of the first on the topics we are talking about today. The new NFF president Ibrahim Gusau said he's going to reduce foreign-born Super Eagles stars in the Super Eagles, and we all know that the issue of foreign-born Super Eagles stars started with Amaju Pinnick. And for those that want to know, foreign-born Super Eagles stars are players that have foreign parents. One of the parents are foreign and one of them Nigerian. For example, we can use Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka's father is a Nigerian, but the mother is not. But we'll be seeing some of them joining the Super Eagles of recently, and Ibrahim Gusau has decided that he's not going to have 100% of foreign-born Super Eagles. What's your take on this, Jide?
First things first, I actually do not understand the statement. I do not understand it because the basis should be that the local league is strong. The basis of that statement should just be that the local league is a strong league and you have players of commensurate level with those that you say you want to reduce. At this point in time, I don't think that is the case. And a quick example is to ask the question, when last did the Nigerian club side win the CAF Champions League? If we cannot even compare, because what he is saying is that the foreign-born players, Nigerian players, do not have the mentality to compete on the African continent. Okay, so I ask him, the people that were born here, that are playing here, that have never traveled, are not competing right now. So what does that statement really mean? For me, that is just the question that rises up immediately I read that statement.
You also acknowledge that the league is not at the best. You also acknowledge the fact that once you invite the local-based players into the Super Eagles, the next thing we are saying is that they are already getting a club outside the country. But nevertheless, he's still making sure that for us to always have, let's look at the stars that were invited for the Super Eagles last game against the Black Stars of Ghana. We had Dennis was invited, we had Lukman and some other players, thinking that their inclusion into that last game against the Super Eagles against the Black Stars will give us that ticket. Unfortunately, they did not give us. So a lot of people are also complaining that it's not good for the mentality. He also used that word, the mentality of the home-based players towards the Super Eagles. What can you say about this, the mentality? Because it gives them not equal rights with those that are born outside the country.
I don't think there's any controversy or any question in this. Nigeria, the Super Eagles must always field the best 11 or 18 players that they can muster, whether they play abroad or whether they play at home. For me, that's not the case. The point is the example you make by inviting those players to play against Ghana in that World Cup qualifier. It was left to the coach and the coaching crew to pick the team. And having played Ghana in the first leg, my thoughts or my thinking is that they should have seen enough to know the kind of players that they needed for the second leg. So for me, the onus still falls on the coaching crew and the administrators of that team for not getting it right. Nobody asked to be invited for that match and be played. Nobody could have had, no player has that clout to ensure that he was invited and then played against Ghana, which we now withdrew the match and then lost out to Qatar 2022. So the question really to ask is, have we put the right mechanism in place to ensure that every match the Super Eagles play, the 11 or the 18 best players are the ones that are featured?
That is the question to answer. Okay, there's also another question to look at is the fact that most of these players have decided to always use Nigeria as a second option. That's if their country, where they grew up, did not take them in the senior team. They probably have played for the under-21, under-17, and hoping that the country which they were born will take them for the senior team game. But at the end of the day, they are missing out. That is why they are so eager to represent Africa. Is that not really taking so much importance of the Super Eagles when it's always after man they've been rejected or not allowed to play for the senior team of the country where they are born?
Well, the same vein of questioning, Muda, that you are bringing up still calls to attention the standing of our coaching crew and our administrators. There should be a level of players that are good enough for the Super Eagles at any time, whether you are rejected by England or France. That is my thought. If a player is not good enough for the Super Eagles, whether he's rejected by any other country should not be the matter. The point is, the matter should be, is he good enough? Is he going to add value to the Super Eagles? So let's take an example of Victor Moses. He wanted to play for England, but he did not get the chance. He came to Nigeria. Did he add value to the Super Eagles? I would say definitely. I would say that he was even the major arrowhead for winning the Nations Cup in 2013. That's a player who England did not cap, but now chose Nigeria. So for me, that is not the question. The question all still boils down to the fact that do we have the right criteria in place to ensure that any player, whether rejected or foreign born or local based, has the intricate value to add to our national team, and not that just fulfilling quota or somebody's ego. That should not be the case. It should be, are you good enough to represent Nigeria at any point in time?
Okay, lastly on this topic is, won't you be surprised when the lineup team is all foreign-born Super Eagles stars at a certain time, because we have more than 6 or 7 of them in the Super Eagles, and everybody lining up is Super Eagles players born abroad, and the local players. And when we look at it, the likes of Ndidi Osime and the others who have done so well, who were born both parents in the country here, don't you think the future will have a closure on them if we continue concentrating our talent over there?
Muda, you're trying to put me in a quandary here. Like I said, I don't care where those players are born. The question to really ask is, are they good enough for us? If a player says he wants to play for Nigeria, the first criteria is not just because he wants to change his passport. The first criteria should be, is he good enough? Is it better than what we already have? My major grouse with bringing anybody from abroad or any foreign born is, if we had somebody that is as good or comparable to him, why are we wasting money to bring him in to come and play for the team? That's the question always. So I don't mind all of them being born in Greece. I don't mind. If they are good enough for the team and they want to represent Nigeria, all well and good. But it tells you that you're not doing well with your local league. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you are doing well with the local league, we will not need to go and naturalize every player that says, oh, I have Nigerian descent. We wouldn't need to do that. But as long as we take our eyes off the ball, which is getting our local league up to standard, where it will produce standard footballers, then we'll still continue to argue this. Even in 2026, we'll still continue to say it.